On they came, and among them in the forefront of the battle now and again I caught sight of a gigantic man, a huge creature who seemed to me to be 7 feet high and big in proportion. I could not see him clearly because of the uncertain moonlight, but I noted his fierce aspect, also that he had an enormous beard, black streaked with grey, that flowed down to his middle, and that his hair hung in masses upon his shoulders. "Rezu himself," I shouted to Umslopogaas. "Aye, Macumazahn, Rezu himself without doubt, and I rejoice to see him, for he will be a worthy foe to fight. Look, he carries an axe as I do. Now I must save my strength, for when we come face to face I shall need it all." I thought that I would spare Umslopogaas this exertion and watched my opportunity to put a bullet through this giant, but I could never get one. Once when I had covered him, an Amahagger rushed in front of my gun so that I could not shoot, and when a second chance came, a little cloud floated over the face of the moon and made him invisible. After that I had other things to which to attend, since, as I expected would happen, the western face of our square gave, and yelling like devils the enemy began to pour in through the gap. A cold thrill went through me, for I saw that the game was up. To reform these undisciplined Amahagger was impossible. Nothing was to be expected except panic, rout and slaughter. I cursed my folly for ever having had anything to do with the business, while Hans screamed to me in a thin voice that the only chance was for us three and the Zulu to bolt and hide in the bush. I did not answer him because, apart from any nasty pride, the thing was impossible. For how could we get through those struggling masses of men which surrounded us on every side? No, my clock had struck. So I went on making a kind of mental sandwich of prayers and curses, prayers for my soul and forgiveness for my sins, and curses on the Amahagger and everything to do with them, especially Zikali and the woman called Ayesha, who, between them, had led me into this affair. "Perhaps the Great Medicine of Zikali," piped Hans again as he fired a rifle at the advancing foe. "Hang the Great Medicine," I shouted back, "and Ayesha with it. No wonder she declined to take a hand in this business." As I spoke the words I saw old Billali, who not being a man of war, was keeping as close to us as he could, go flat onto his venerable face, and reflected that he must have got a thrown spear through him. Casting a hurried glance at him to see if he were done for or only wounded, out of the corner of my eye I caught sight of something diaphanous which gleamed in the moonlight and reminded me of I knew not what at the moment. I looked round quickly to see what it might be, and lo! there, almost at my side, was the veiled Ayesha herself, holding in her hand a little rod made of black wood inlaid with ivory, not unlike a field marshal's baton or a sceptre. I never saw her come, and to this day I do not know how she did so. She was just there, and what is more, she must have put luminous paint or something else on her robes, for they gleamed with a sort of faint phosphorescent fire, which in the moonlight made her conspicuous all over the field of battle. Nor did she speak a single word, she only waved the rod, pointed with it toward the fierce hordes who were drawing near to us, killing as they came, and began to move forward with a gliding motion. Now from every side there went up a roar of "She who commands! She who commands!" while the people of Rezu in front shouted "Lulala! Lulala! Fly! Lulala is upon us with the witchcrafts of the moon." She moved forward and by some strange impulse, for no order was given, we all began to move after her. Yes, The ranks that a minute before were beginning to give way to wild panic, became filled with a marvellous courage and moved after her. The men of Rezu also, and I suppose with them Rezu himself, for I saw no more of him at that time, began to move uncommonly fast over the edge of the plateau towards the plain beneath. In fact they broke into flight, and leaping over dead and dying we rushed after them, always following the gleaming robe of Ayesha, who must have been an extremely agile person, since without any apparent exertion she held her place a few steps ahead of us. There was another curious circumstance about this affair, namely that terrified though they were, those Rezuites after the first break soon seemed to find it impossible to depart with speed. They kept turning round to look behind them at that following vision, as though they were so many of Lot's wives. Moreover, the same fate overtook many of them which fell upon that scriptural lady, since they appeared to become petrified and stood there quite still, like rabbits fascinated by a snake, until our people came up and killed them. This slaying went on all down the last steep slope of the ridge, on which I suppose at least 2/3 of the army of Rezu must have perished, since our Amahagger showed themselves very handy men when it came to exterminating foes who were too terror struck to fight, and, exhilarated by the occupation, gained courage every moment. End of chapter 17 of She and Allan by H. Rider Haggard. Read by Lars Rolander.